Alrighty, back with another episode, Wolf and Pooch. Today, we talking about why it seems like it's so hard to come by in relationships. I think you seen some on TikTok that inspired this or something like that.
Actually, it was a conversation with my dad.
Oh,
He
okay.
saw one of our shows, and we got on the topic of dating, and he actually said, "Yeah, it's crazy out there." He goes, "Nobody trusts anybody anymore." And I said, "Wow, you're right." I'm
Mm,
like, "Boom, show idea." Um, and I have some opinions about that. Why I think people don't trust each other. I think we are living in a generation right now where loyalty is really not at the forefront. I feel like we're in a very attention focused society where that will lead to, say you and your significant other maybe aren't, maybe you're on the rocks, maybe things aren't going great, right? So what
mm,
do? Oh, I'm going to post a selfie and get some instant gratification. And then that could turn into someone in your DMs, and then we all know where that goes, right? And then it turns into something else, and you entertain that, right? Someone finds out, boom, trust broken. I'm gonna flirt with whoever at work because my home life's terrible. What I mean, there's so many ways to get attention now, and I feel like loyalty is not looked at as this important thing. And so, with that, if you're not going to have that, you're never going to have trust. They
mm,
kind of go together.
yeah,
So, and it's unfortunate because I truly feel there are people out there who want that and who aren't doing those things, right? Even,
mm,
if your relationship isn't going well, okay, we'll have a conversation. Try to fix it. Don't go to somebody else to try to fix it to get the hit you need, like that dose of attention that you may not be getting, or that whatever it is, right?
mm,
Um, because that's not going to fix it. It's not. It's going to actually make matters worse, right? And so, sadly, it's easier to go run off and do something like that versus, sitting down with your significant other and saying, "Hey, I don't like how this is going, but let's try to work on this together," right? Keyword together, so we can both feel good about this.
mm.
Sadly, though, I feel like communication isn't always there in all the relationships, like it should be. So, no, that's an important thing too. What do you,
True.
why do you feel
I
like?
feel like, all right, I feel like a relationship, let's say a relationship is like a house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you're building a house, you need a strong foundation in order for that house to stand the test of time, right?
Absolutely.
And I feel like trust should be the key foundation to building that house. See, a lot of times people don't take the time to build the foundation because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like we live in such a microwave society where we
Mm-hmm.
just rush into something, or we look, like you mentioned, social media.
Instant
We see
gratification.
on social media, oh, so and so just got married, and so and so just had a baby, and they're doing good, and I'm single. Let me find somebody, so let me settle and let me rush because I feel like I'm so behind in this crazy generic microwave world, and so I'm not taking the time to really build the foundation of trust. Instead, I'm disguising that foundation with lust, right? So
And going
then,
with what's convenient.
and going with what's convenient. So then, when the times do get tough, right? When the foundation is tested, right? When the house is being tested, when there is an earthquake coming, then yeah, then the shit falls down, right? Because you didn't take the time to build that trust, right?
Right.
You rushed. They say if you wanna something to last, you really gotta take your time, brick by brick. You really gotta make sure each level is secured. A lot of times, things that go too quick and happen too fast, they come down just as fast. They come down just as quick. Um, so I
Right.
feel like trust stems from just not taking time, and people not trusting themselves. That's a big one, because you can't trust nobody if you don't trust yourself. If you don't trust yourself to be loyal, if you don't trust yourself to be committed, if you don't trust yourself to be disciplined, then you shouldn't even be in a relationship from the
Mm-hmm.
jump, right? That's
Right.
that's that's being unfair to you. That's being unfair to the other person. You're already putting the relationship at a disadvantage from the jump
Right.
because again, you have to be filled, right? When you look in the mirror, you have to be able to trust yourself because when you look at your other person, you gonna project that distrust, that insecurity onto them because you don't even feel that way about yourself.
Right.
So I feel like
That
that's the
creates a whole other
basis.
problem.
That's the basis of a lot of things. Like people just can't. It starts from home, right? And people don't trust themselves. So I feel like that's where trust is just
Well, and some
gone.
people have trust issues from past relationships too, and then they bring that into the current one, right? And this person could be doing absolutely nothing to break that trust, but they have the trauma from whatever happened to them in the past, and they haven't really healed from that. And so I feel like that's another reason why people don't trust
Mm,
easily, which is no fault to their significant other. They're just at the receiving end of it, which truly isn't fair. That's why, like you were saying, you got to make sure you're right within yourself before you enter into anything because you're doing everybody a disservice. Repeating what you said, but yeah.
and then
So
not to cut you off, then you have like side chicks and side guys that's being made prevalent and being
don't get me started.
normalized.
Don't get me started.
So people are already expecting people to have these side chicks and side dudes on the side, um,
I
because
will
they're
never
seeing this.
expect that. I
No,
mean,
no,
I
no,
know.
no. I'm
I'm
saying
saying no.
people
I know.
are not trusting their partner because they're
Yeah.
already expecting them to have like people on the side.
Right. I expect that not to happen actually, but I know what you're saying. It is being glamorized at an alarming rate on every bit of social media, in music, in movies, in music videos. It's just gotten so out of control that it's considered normal when I'm sorry, it's not considered normal. It's one of
Mm,
the most damaging things you could do to your partner. And yes, talk about breaking trust. That's the ultimate betrayal right there.
facts.
So I feel like there's a lot of variables that can go into not having trust and breaking trust, but it all boils down to what you stated earlier. Get right within yourself so you don't act out. You don't
Mm,
look to someone else for the gratification. You don't, step out, whatever, because it's not going to end well, you know. But I think people find it hard to work on themselves, right? It's not the easiest thing. You got to really look in the mirror, and a lot of people don't want to do that. People don't want to go to therapy. They don't want to have that vulnerability that's needed to really accomplish that kind of healing, that
mm,
deep healing, which is necessary because people have some deep traumas from whatever it is, right? Typically stems from childhood. It's like, oh, it seems to be the way, because some people didn't have a trusted adult, as a parent.
mm, mm,
They didn't have that kind of security, and if you don't
mm,
have that type of security, you're not going to feel secure within yourself. And you may try to look for it in others, but again, you have to really dig deep down to kind of get it for yourself. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have much more to add. I think we covered a lot of bases.
Yeah, I think trust it's a root issue. Stems from the root of a relationship, from the root of a person. It could be from the root of your childhood. It just starts from the root. So I think because then without the trust, it leads to the branch of a lot of other things, right? It branches off to a bunch of other stuff. So
Well, yeah,
you have to get that taken care of first,
I will say
in
this to
general.
add to it: if you're in a relationship or a marriage, and the trust is broken, either you choose to rebuild it or you need to choose to leave, because harassing the other person about the trust being broken
Mm,
is going to make it 10 times worse.
facts.
And you need to, yeah, make a choice, because a lot of times we know what we need to do, we just don't do it, and we
Mm.
choose to stay in and like punish the person. But in essence, you're truly punishing yourself.
After you said you forgave him, or after you said you moved
Yeah.
on.
Right,
But
exactly.
every fight, you bringing it back up.
Right,
Yes, I'm
yeah.
glad you said that.
No, it's
That's
important. I mean, you can't, you got to make a choice. Either you're going to sit in it and fix it, or you're going to leave. We all have choices. So yeah,
Simple as that.
and at the end of the day, you'll be okay whatever choice you make.
And I think that's the perfect way to end it right there.
I agree.
Um, if you made it this far, I want you to comment trust, right? If
There
you
it
made
is.
it to the end of this video. All right, like, comment, subscribe, give
All
us
the
some
socials.
feedback, follow the socials, give us some topics you want us to discuss in the
Yeah,
comments. If you feel free for all that. We appreciate the suggestions.
and the support.
Until the next video, y'all stay blessed and y'all stay safe.